This is the HTC One X, an Android 4.0 device, and the One X is the flagship model of the HTC One series of smartphones. So let's start with the design of the phone. This is actually a very beautiful phone, to me at least. It's very sleek, it's very clean. You know, there are no flaps, nothing to open up. It's just one piece of solid. So I guess you can consider this as a unibody design because it's one piece of plastic altogether. And even though it's plastic, it's quite scratch-proof as well. It's very durable. You know, but this is one of the phones where I was very confident of putting it in my pocket together with my keys. And you know, it doesn't really get scratched that easily, and it's a very light phone as well, so that's something that I'm very fond of overall with the design. But of course the highlight of the phone itself is its beautiful 4.7-inch display, and it's really nice display. It's at 720p HD resolution, so you have a resolution of 1280 pixels by 720 pixels, and because it's just 4.7 inches, you could consider this as a retina display because you can't actually see the pixels on the display itself. So that's one of the things. It's a very high resolution. Secondly, it's very vibrant. The colors are very bright. The screen is very bright. So you know, everything is really beautiful to look at. And third, the distance between the display and the glass itself is very thin, which makes it look like almost as if the screen is being printed onto the glass. So that's something that makes the display really pleasant to look at. Another cool thing about the design are the touch-sensitive buttons at the bottom. So these touch-sensitive buttons are actually printed on in white. You would have seen phones on Gear65 where the backlight disappears and then you know the buttons go away and it's very annoying to look at. So the good thing is that because these are printed on, you can always see the buttons and find them. They're highly visible both in the day as well as in the night. There are two things about the design that I'm not that particularly fond of. So one of them is that this is very specific to the white model. I unknowingly do put phones into a special gene stain test. So you know, genes, the blue ink on genes tend to come off easily. And on the white phones, you'll start to see that. You probably won't be able to see it in this video, but there is a blue stain on the side here. So the edges over here will tend to turn blue. So if you wear jeans, you'll notice that the phone will start to turn blue. Fortunately, it is very easy to clean it off. You know, just a little bit of moisture, just rub it, and the blue ink will go away. But you know, it gets a bit tiring that you have to clean the phone all the time. Unfortunately, the micro SIM card slot, probably because it could be made of a different material, is a bit more harder to clean. So after a while, you notice that the micro SIM card will look darker than the rest of the casing. So that's one thing I do not like about this particular casing, and it was the same with the Sony Xperia S that we tested just a couple of episodes ago. It also turned blue in my jeans as well, so naturally speaking this is a white phone, so you know, getting it stained, it's not really that surprising. The other thing, again, is another problem that you will face with a phone with such a large display is the fact that it's not really designed for one-hand use, because first of all, you can't reach for the power button and then unlock the phone, which is all the way at the bottom here, that easily. So you gotta, it's a bit of a, you know, push and then kind of scroll up like that and then just kind of unlock it. So you might accidentally drop it, so you know, you will definitely not be turning on the phone with one hand most of the time. I wish they put a power button, or at least allow me to turn on the screen using the volume control. So unfortunately it doesn't do that. Now let's talk about the hardware. This phone is powered by a 1.5 GHz quad-core CPU, an NVIDIA Tegra 3 CPU, in fact, the same CPU that was found on the Asus Transformer Prime tablet notebook device. That makes the phone quite impressive and very snappy, so that's something that I'm quite fond of. And on the back here you've got an 8-megapixel camera with LED flash, and it's got a f-stop of 2.0. That's a very large aperture, making it, you know, really good for taking pictures with you know, bokeh effects and stuff like that. On the front you got a 1.3 megapixel camera. The phone also features a green LED light right on the top here to indicate whenever you have new notifications or alarms. And the phone comes with Bluetooth 4.0 built in with aptX technology, and aptX is this audio streaming technology that allows you to stream high quality audio to aptX compatible speakers, which is a really nice thing. The phone comes with NFC built in as well, and comes with a single USB port, a micro USB port for both charging as well as syncing. Apart from this, you will also find a dock connector over here for you to put it with a dock, and as I mentioned earlier, this phone is also using micro SIM, so it's not using the full-size SIM card, it is using a micro SIM card, and which you can eject from here by poking a little paper clip into this hole to eject the tray. And this phone is not expandable by micro SD or any memory card expansion, unfortunately. You will have to rely on the internal memory, which is 16 gigabytes. This phone is running on Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich as well as HTC Sense 4. So let's start with the lock screen. So the moment you turn on, you have this really fancy 3D weather thingamabob, and this is really nice to show off. The moment you turn on the phone, everybody goes, whoa. Of course, in my personal experience, after you doing this for about a week or so, you'll kind of get bored of this, and really, weather is not really the most important thing that you will actually want to care about. Fortunately, HTC lets you customize this, which I'm going to show you by clicking the personalized application and go under lock screen style, and you can see that there's a whole ton of lock screen styles, not just the weather one, which you saw earlier. There's this people one, which allows you to call and SMS people very quickly from the lock screen. You've got a plain clock. You have a 3D stocks, so if the stocks are very important for you, this might be useful to see the stocks literally going up and down. And you can see FriendStream, which is a social networking one, though in my experience you see statuses just kind of floating around, and I personally prefer to see them in a stream in a horizontal fashion. So if you're like me, this might not be very useful to you. A photo album and a productivity one. This is actually, to me, in my opinion, the most useful one, because it shows you all the notifications, including upcoming calendar events, messages, emails, and phone calls and things like that. Of course, you can get rid of all of them and stick with the wallpaper. The other thing that I'm very fond of the lock screen is the fact that you can very quickly launch applications straight from the lock screen itself. So if I want to go into the internet, just drag the internet icon and drop into the ring, and straight away my web browser will launch. So basically you can put any application and they follow the icons that you put in this particular tray. So let's say, for example, you're very into the cameras, so you can drag the camera icon to this particular lock screen itself, and then just the next time when you unlock it and you want to launch the camera quickly, just drag the camera icon, drop it into the ring, and straight away the camera will launch. Speaking of this tray is always here, so you can put icons over here and they will stick here no matter which screen on the widget screen that you will see. And HTC has always been known to show off its beautiful widgets, and their widgets are in 3D, so you can see kind of very slightly, you can see the clouds moving in 3D, and to kind of show off, let me show you, this is the music player, and when you scroll it sideways you can see the CD player popping out in 3D. Of course, these are just cosmetic stuff, but it's nevertheless, it's kind of cool to look at. Unfortunately, that's about it that they've customized, mainly because the notification panel is the stock notification panel. They've not customized it by adding any shortcuts. So this is the ice cream sandwich notification panel, and you can basically slide notifications away like this, and you can have a quick shortcut to the settings straight from the notification panel itself. The other thing that they did not customize is the app launcher. So this is the default ice cream sandwich app launcher. I am suspecting that Google might be restricting manufacturers from customizing the app launcher, because this was the same for one of the previous phones that I tested as well, where you couldn't customize the arrangements of the icon even though that manufacturer used to do that. So this is sorted according to alphabetical order, or you can do this and slide to the frequent order downloads section. You can't actually reorder it in any way that you like it to, which is kind of annoying. On the bright side, at least it's scrolling from left to right. One thing HTC did customize though is the app switcher. The normal Android ice cream sandwich app switcher is basically they kind of scroll like this and with a few lines which you can slide out, but with HTC, when you touch the multitasking button, yes, there's a dedicated multitask button because this is an ice cream sandwich device, you get this 3D app launcher which looks very nice, and 3D, a lot like what you will find on Windows 7. And to basically quit an application, just slide things away and get rid of it. HTC has also customized the camera application. So when I launch the camera over here, you can see a few things. One, you have the ability to add filters. So there's a whole bunch of filters that you can do, and which you can see as well. So here's a distortion filter, so you can put it here and drag the little circle around to distort it at different areas and stuff like that. And it's built into the camera itself, which is very nice. This is HTC Car, a custom user interface that HTC introduced specific for using in the car. So you know, you got the music player when you slide to the right, you got internet radio, you got navigation as well as the phone, and everything is within reach. All the buttons are big and you can see everything. And you know, let's say I go into the car and I hit the back button, it brings me back to the home screen. In fact, no matter where I am, whenever I press home, it still comes back to the screen. So the phone becomes a dedicated car device, and the only way to quit it is by going into the back button on the home screen and telling them to close HTC Car. So this is a very nice touch that HTC has done into the phone for cars, for drivers, and there are accessories that you can purchase to allow streaming music into the cars that is sold separately. The other thing that I'm very happy about the new HTC Sense is how it makes it easy for you to customize how the phone reacts whenever you connect it to USB. So the screen will appear that will allow you to choose between using it as a storage device or as a tethering device and so on and so forth, and with many different options all over for you to choose. You can even choose it to charge only, so it doesn't respond to any software on the phone, which is a very nice touch, which I'm quite fond of. The other customization that HTC has added into the phone is Beats Audio. So right now, you can use any headphones, you can plug in any headphones into the phone, and you're able to use the Beats Audio enhancement software with any application, not just the applications that come with the phone itself. The music does sound better with Beats Audio, so that's a nice touch. And now for the apps that come with the phone. HTC Sense itself has already done a pretty good job at enhancing the phone's usability, but they've also added a few interesting applications. These applications, I personally don't use them very often, but they're nevertheless very interesting to highlight. So you've got this really beautiful clock application. You know, you can have stopwatches and stuff like that. There's also a flashlight application, which is quite funny, so you can click on these to change the flashlight intensity. An FM radio application for you to listen to the radio. And my personal favorite, Locations, a mapping service, in fact a turn-by-turn navigation service that works offline, so you can download maps of an entire country that you are about to visit without actually needing internet access to access the map. And that was the HTC One X. And now it's your turn. Tell us, what do you think about this device after everything that we've shown you? Does it meet your needs? Would you actually get this phone? Leave all your comments on YouTube or on our website www.tech65.org. And if you thought this video was useful, gave you enough information, and allowed you to have a sense of the phone even though you're not actually holding it, give us a thumbs up by liking the video on YouTube. You can find the like button in this particular corner if you're watching on youtube.com, and subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/65bits. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.